Kia ora, friends. If you pay any attention at all to the way I dress, there's no question that I'm a Parrot-Head. Which has nothing to do with computing. Seriously though, Parrot-OS came out about in 2013. I didn't go back to school for cybersecurity until about 2019. So I started using Kali Linux when I got serious about that in about 2018. I've been using it for about 7 years. I didn't find out about Parrot-OS until 2022, maybe 2021, and I didn't start using it seriously until about 2 months ago when I made it my daily driver to really test it out, see how it holds up against Kali Linux, and vice versa, see how Kali Linux holds up against Parrot-OS. And as a bonus, I'm going to show you how to turn something that looks like this into something that looks like this. So I'm super excited. I'm ready to jump into it. So what is Parrot-OS? Well, Parrot-OS is a distribution based on the Debian distribution operating system, which is super stable. The Parrot-OS distribution was specifically designed for security experts, developers, and privacy-aware users. So as we saw in a previous video, the Parrot-OS has 3 main editions. It's got Security, Home, and Architect editions. I went with just the normal Home on this machine to test out as my daily driver. That ships with the Mate desktop environment, which I'm really not a fan of, which is why I added the bonus part of this video, which is making it look super pretty. I switch it over to GNOME. You can do KDE. You can use a window manager like i3. They already have, Parrot-OS already has options for that ready to go, but we'll get into all that later. As just a quick history of where Parrot-OS came from, it was first released on April 10th, 2013. It was originally developed as a part of FrozenBox, which I've never heard of before, so I can't really give any good history lesson on that. But the effort has grown to include a community of open source developers, professional security experts, advocates of digital rights, and Linux enthusiasts from around the globe. So now the project is headquartered in Palermo, Italy, and governed by Parrot-Security CIC, which is a community interest company registered in the UK. So again, Parrot was designed specifically for security professionals and more interestingly, with security students in mind. So Parrot is different from general purpose distributions like Ubuntu, because it doesn't try in any way to hide its system internals. So the automation tools actually expose what's really under the hood to really assist students in learning not only how Linux works, or not only how Parrot-OS works, but how Linux works in general. And how it's more intended for security experts and privacy-aware people. And this is one of the many reasons I'm going to keep it on my laptop from here forward, is because by default, it disables all the networks, all the network services pre-installed into the system, as compared to, again, general distributions. So that's not only to maintain a low RAM footprint, low memory footprint, but also, which would offer better performance, but also to avoid services exposure in target networks, or if you're privacy conscious, if you're on a public network, then your exposure to that network is even less by default when using Parrot-OS. So we are looking at Parrot-OS specifically up against Kali Linux, which is my current background, which we're about to jump into here. So what makes it different from Kali and other pen testing distributions is that It has those pen testing tools, but it also has a big focus on forensics development and privacy. So having tools for all three of the spectrum, the privacy, the forensics, and the pen testing, it also makes it a great distribution of choice for security researchers, which is something I think I'll get into one day. But without further ado, let's just jump in and see how it compares to Kali. So first and foremost, of course, Kali is more beautiful to look at just off the bat. But stay with me, because that's what the bonus part of this video is about, is making Parrot-OS even more pretty to look at than Kali. Okay, so Kali Linux is by default running with the XFCE desktop environment, which is lightweight. It's just got the one taskbar at the top, as you can see here. Okay, so something that Kali Linux and Parrot-OS have in common are the categorization and organization of the pen testing apps. They are a little different in the actual breakdown and the titles, of course, too, because, like, for example, Kali has reconnaissance, whereas in Parrot-OS it's information gathering, and the apps inside of it are a little bit different. But just for the breakdown here, we have reconnaissance, resource development, initial access, execution, persistence, privilege escalation, so on and so forth. So Parrot-OS has a Tor browser. I don't believe Kali does. Yeah, so out of the box, Kali Linux does not have the Tor browser in it. Of course, you can install it. It's very simple. But out of the box, Parrot-OS does have a Tor browser. It also has a privacy tool that uses the Tor network to mask your IP. So a small difference between the two. So I've already made a few changes with the apps that I have pinned, as you can see here. But for the most part, I've made very minimal changes so that I can actually walk through making it a little bit more beautiful to look at. So here next to the Chromium app is a privacy app, which will allow us to use the Tor network to change the IP address to a mass IP address within the Tor network. So the difference between this privacy app and the Tor browser itself is that the Tor browser only makes the browser portion private. So the background apps that are using the internet are still using our normal host IP. Whereas if we change this privacy IP address, all background apps will be using that private Tor address. So I'll dive more into this in a future video on browser security, but for now, just know that it's here, and that's super cool that Parrot-OS comes out of the box with it. Okay, so one feature that Kali has that no other distribution has is this Kali undercover, where, as you saw, I typed Kali undercover, and now it looks like I am on a Windows machine. So I think this is super cool. Like, as you can see, you know, it's got C home Kali. This command line, I can still run Kali commands. It is not the command prompt. So I can go through the folders and see that they are still the same setup as it was before. If I go through the start menu, I've got the similar pen testing apps and the similar categorizations. So yeah, just a super fun feature, very good for actually being undercover for a real pen testing engagement, and just looking like you're using a regular Windows machine. But again, Parrot-OS is designed for security professionals, not so much for the pen testers. But yeah, every single icon just pulls up exactly like Windows. You would expect a Windows machine to, and this is a super fun thing to play with. So I'm still using regular Linux commands like ls to display all the contents of the directory that we're currently in. We can change directories just like we would normally. So this is still the Linux terminal, not a command prompt. All right, just to show that this is definitely a Linux terminal and not a Windows command prompt, we'll use traceroute versus traceRT just to show that traceart or traceroute will work because it's a Linux machine and that's the Linux command. So we'll do traceroute for quad 1, which was successful. So if we tried the same traceRT, which is the Windows version for quad 1, it doesn't recognize the command because it's a Linux machine, not Windows. And to exit, you just type Kali undercover again. All right. Just a word on Kismet, because we did see it pulled up. That is a tool that Kali has by default that Parrot-OS does not have, which in an actual pen testing engagement is really good to have for the wireless assessment. And I actually had to do a wireless assessment while I was testing Parrot-OS, so that's why it comes to mind. So I'm sure that there are other apps that one will have and not the other, but that one is fresh on my memory because I needed it and it wasn't there, and when I tried to install it, it gave me some issues. So I just fired up my Kali machine like I'm in here, and that's why you saw that that was a recent file. So just be aware that if you need to do a wireless assessment, you may need to stick with Kali, or just figure out how to get Kismet on Parrot-OS, even though it was at least a little bit of a headache for me. So maybe your mileage will vary, and I hope it does. All right, so back to the organization in Parrot. It is very similar to Kali. We have pen testing with information gathering, vulnerability analysis, web application analysis, exploitation tools, and so on. So something that I like about Parrot-OS out of the box is the OWASP Zap. OWASP Zap is a web application testing tool. It has a lot of automation features for free included and baked into it out of the box that Burp Suite does not have. So as you can see here on the Kali box, as you can see, OWASP Zap is not included on Kali. Which, that's okay. I mean, you can definitely install it very, very easily. And just a different categorization in general, right? Because OWASP Zap and Burp Suite are considered part of web application analysis, whereas they are reconnaissance for Kali. So Parrot-OS also caters more to ethical hackers who are also developers. So it includes a wider range of programming languages, IDEs, and dev tools that are pre-installed. Again, you can install these things on Kali, but they are just baked in for you in Parrot-OS. All right, so the key takeaway is that while both are really powerful ethical hacking platforms, Parrot-OS has a bit more privacy and security focus, while Kali Linux provides a broader set of individual pen testing utilities, and customizing the looks and feel of Parrot-OS can definitely make it a stylish alternative for ethical hackers. Okay, so on using these as a daily driver. After using both for a substantial amount of time as a daily driver, I feel like Parrot-OS is more fully baked. Not that I think that Kali is half-baked as an OS. I mean, especially right now, it looks amazing, and it feels amazing as compared to the way it did 7 years ago, right? But more in the sense that I feel like that Kali Linux is meant to be immutable, right? Which makes sense because it's a distribution intended to be used for penetration testing. So that introduces additional risk that you want to be able to clear and restart sometimes. Or just because you need to clear out any data from a particular pen testing engagement, right? Whereas using Parrot-OS, I feel like it was really intended to be used as a daily driver instead of just for pen testing or for forensic investigations. So that is why I've decided to leave Parrot-OS on my laptop. I think that the privacy settings are great for when I'm on the go, and my laptop is what I'm going to be taking on the go, my personal laptop. Now I finally have my own tower PC set up again. It's been a long time, so I've been using my laptop since I went back to school, and that has been my only personal computer. And then I can also use the laptop as my attack machine for recording any of our penetration testing tutorials. So I'm really excited to make Parrot-OS look like something that I enjoy looking at more.
Teenagers who are aesthetically pleasing, in other words, fly.
So I have been really waiting for recording this right now because I really dislike the look of Mate. I always have. In this particular case, I don't like having the taskbar at the top and at the bottom. I feel a lot of redundancy. I feel like a lot of space, a lot of real estate is taken up. So can we take something that looks like this, look more like this? Of course we can, because Linux is awesome, and so are you. Right, Veronica?
Do 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 do. You're my hero, Linux mom.
I do love Veronica Explains, so if you get a chance, please check out her channel. It's really awesome. But, okay, so I would love to show you the steps that I take to make that happen. Here we go. So in the Parrot-OS documentation, it shows that the current desktop environment is Mate. You already know how I feel about that one. But it also, they put a lot of work into making switching the desktop environment to like GNOME, like we're about to do, incredibly easy. You can also do XFCE, which is the same as Kali. I've messed around with KDE before. It is nice. For me, it's just too many options. But a lot of people like it, and I don't have anything against it. I thought it was a great one, that it was a great desktop environment when I transitioned from Windows. All right, so they provide the commands right here with how to do that. You're going to search Parrot-desktop-, and you will find several options that we just went over. Anywho, so let's go ahead and run this for GNOME. So let's do the apt search like it recommends. As you can tell, there are the same options that it's stated in the documentation. Wonderful. So let's go ahead and install the GNOME. All right, let's try to update it. All right, let's just try to copy exactly what it has and run both at the same time. Obviously, we changed desktop environment to GNOME. Negative. Okay, so it's not the Pipewire audio. Yeah, let's try to fix the broken install. Well, that did something. Okay, so we did the auto remove it suggested. Something's happening here. Alright, so now that's done. Let's try this one more time. There you are. Okay. Let's just try to do that install command, but with that allow downgrades option, because I did not realize that was a thing. Negative. Force it? No. Okay, so we just downgraded the libspa. Now we're about to downgrade the pipewire. Yes. Okay, and then we will try it again. So I guess the downgrade didn't work before because it needs to be directly after a apt update and upgrade, which is strange to me, but okay. Okay, let's try it one more time. Wow. All right, here we go. So we are installing GNOME right now. It's going to look like a completely different system here in a second. So super excited. All right, so I'm about to reboot, and when we go to log in, we'll select additional options, and it should show Mate as well as like GNOME Wayland, GNOME X11, etc., etc. All right, cool. So now that we have GNOME, this is my favorite. This is what it looks like. You've got your different windows here. You've got activities, which are kind of like an applications thing. If you press the Windows key, that also takes you there. If you double tap the Windows key, that takes you to all your apps. And then again, if you're here, activities, you hit the app tray, which is the 9 dots. Same thing. Okay, so you've got utilities there. Okay, I was not expecting this. I was expecting these apps, which are all the pen testing things, grouped together in a special way. Not sure why they're not. Interesting. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. That's okay. Not too worried about that. Let's do this. I'm going to go to GNOME extensions, GNOME shell integration, which is a Firefox extension. This will show you what you have installed, turned on. You can bring up customization settings all through the browser, and then it goes through your desktop environment. So very handy. I'm really not worried about this error message up here. Let's just show you what I normally do. So first let's grab dash to doc, or doc from dash. That's the one that I normally use, right? That's it, right? Which one is it actually? No, it's doc from dash. That's what I use. Install that. Link. Extensions here. Doc from dash. Okay. All right, this is weird to me. Normally I don't have these errors here, but I mean, it's clearly installed. So cool. Yep, there it is right there. Whatever, doesn't matter. All right, the other one, I use OpenBar. Yes, this one is awesome. Please grab OpenBar, install, open link. Beautiful. Install. Make sure OpenBar is installed. It is. I can tell from the way that just highlighted. Cool. Okay, go back. Forge. Forge is a tiling manager. And spacebar. I like spacebar. that all I need? No. Top hat. I like top hat too. Beautiful. Okay. Let's minimize this. Swap these two. All right. First things first. Appearance. We are going to make you dark mode, please and thank you. Great. Do I want that background? Let's find out. Go to another. No. Ugh. I don't like that. You know what I do have? Okay. I made lots of really cool images just for this. Okay, so we've got some Cybersecurity, Parrot Security, like that. Okay, that's my emblem, my Brews and Hacks emblem. Okay, we've got this guy here. He's cute. Parrot-OS. Simple. I really like this one. This might be a winner. Data breach. We got data breach here. Access granted. Some binary along with a 5.6, so I guess it's binary and hex. Dark breach. Parrot-OS. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. We got this guy, that guy. I like these a lot. These I don't like, but it's really funny. All right, now this, I do love this. Okay, so this was I found, oh, I like these too. These I don't like so much. All right, so the story on this one. Found a cool background wallpaper image with a monkey with a shirt saying Monday. So I was like, all right, well, let's have a parrot wearing a shirt that says Keat. Like a play off of Leet. Keat. Parakeet. I like it. I think I'm going to go with one of these. I don't know. Probably one of these, though, to be honest. These are my favorites. Do you like this one? The green is good. And a reason I gravitate to green is this is on my laptop, and my laptop has green backlit keys. So yeah, I think this is my winner. I'm gonna go with this one. Let's go ahead and download it. All right, dark, add picture. Yeah, I like it. Clean, beautiful. Boom. Cool. All right, let's fix this open bar. All right, so let's pull up extensions. Actually, first, let's fix the number of things we have up here. Okay, so we need, and I also don't like that when I put my mouse in the corner, it pulls this open. I see why that's helpful to some people, but to me, I accidentally get my cursor up in that corner, so it's annoying. So I'm gonna get rid of that. All right, so that's going to be, that particular setting is in multitasking. All right, it's the hot corner. I'm gonna turn that off. Active screen edges, yeah, I'll keep that on. Instead of dynamic workspaces, I'm gonna make it 6. I'm gonna show you why. Oh, I forgot an extension. Hold that thought. Good. And no, that's fine. Okay. Close out of that. All right, we're gonna pin this guy. Pin a dash. Remove from dash. Gotta get desktop cube. Totally forgot about that one. You'll see why this is so cool in just Just a moment. All right, so let's adjust spacebar. Workspace names. No, I don't want smart names. Ah, there we go. All right. I like Roman numerals, so we're going to do that across all of these. Okay. Come on. Okay. These are fixed. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, settings on desktop cube. Come on. Do I need to have view close? There we go. All right, I like to have these, no gap between. I think everything else is good. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. So, why I like that, let's go here. Yep. And if I drag it down, look at that. It's just a beautiful hexagon. So cool. Okay. Oh, yes. Open bar. Okay. This one's going to be fun. Move that where you can see it, because this is the best one. Okay. Auto theming, great. Do this. Apply. We want to do islands. Okay. Ah, there we go. Let's make you 70, solid 70. Yes. Queef. Okay. Gradient color. Hmm. 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 All right, so we gotta fix it. But you see where I'm going with this. It's beautiful. Okay, so something else I like to do is, well, let's get warp in here. You need to be pinned. Pinned a dash. Okay. Let's go to window 2 and adjust this. Okay, so for processor, yeah, I'm good with just numeric for the processor. For memory, I want both. No, that's just processor. Okay, memory, both. Disk and network, yeah, bytes. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's good. We also need caffeine. How did I forget caffeine? Alright, so I like caffeine because you can keep your computer awake. Okay, so just a few more things, and I just could not think anymore last night, so I'm back to finish this up. Okay, so first, we don't need you. Okay, I only got one. Go back and get the other. That's fine. Okay, so we forgot a few. We forgot blur my shell. GNOME improvements. GS Connect. Alright, so these are the settings that I like for the general blur preferences. For panel, I like to turn off the panel blur so that this stays clear. Overview, which is this. Yeah, let's do the background. Dash. Turn that off because that kind of messes things up. Applications. Let's turn that off because that tends to mess things up. I have noticed. Okay. Open bar. There you are. So I like it on the right. I don't know. I just do. Spacebar settings. I also like this to be more circular, so yeah, that just makes it a little bit more balanced. Okay, and then border radius. There we go. I figured it out. So you got to do the accent color override and then apply these dark themes, and then yeah, that fixes it. All right, finally got it. Yep, use menu colors, and that should fix it. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna try a few other icon themes. Curious about this one. And this one. Okay. Human icon theme. Let's see what's going on with that. Right, let's try those ones. See how that goes. And also, let's make everything green. How about that? Let's make everything green. There we go. And we'll keep the borders orange because there is some oranges and some greens. Yeah, I like this for now. All right, let's check out this icon theme. All right, I don't know what's going on with this transparent window. I'm gonna need to figure that out. um, but okay. All right, what is human? Not much of a difference, huh? Let's try new mix. I don't like that one either. Obsidian? Okay, I like obsidian. Yeah, let's keep obsidian on. We've got amber, aqua, cyan, gray, green. Might match our theme here. It's a little bit of a different green. Mint. We could try red, because the bird has some red in it. Nah. Did they have orange? No. Let's just go regular obsidian. I like that. Yeah, I like that. It's good. Cool. And I'm happy with that. Ah, okay, I turned on transparency. And that was causing problems, I think. Okay, gotcha. Okay, it was all these. Okay, I just wanted to show one more thing real quick. Obviously I'm still messing with this, so it's fun, you know? All right, let me move this over here. Okay, so I installed one more extension, and that was Arc Menu. So let's pull up the settings for that. All right, so the reason why I went ahead with this one was to I like, so when you go with the different activity menus, it's usually like a big long oval or line, but I wanted the icons. So Arc Menu offers to be able to do one of their icons. There are just generic distro icons, so like Fedora, OpenSUSE, Arch, blah blah blah. Obviously Parrot-OS is not on here, but you can do a custom one, which there are Parrot icons somewhere in the files. I just downloaded a new one. You can just download a new one. Okay, and then select the menu layout. So I went to modern menu layouts and I did Togni? I don't know. Togni. I'm going to call it Togni. And that will give you the categorization again. So the privacy apps here and the pen testing apps here. Now, as you can see, one big downside is that it got rid of the subcategories. So like web application assessment, information gathering, so on and so forth. It's just that single tier. So I did post on the Parrot-Security subreddit asking if there is a quick and easy way to get this as a second tier category for those subcategories again. No response yet, but maybe they'll respond soon. So we'll see. But yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. All right, so I am happy with the way this looks. The last thing I'll leave you with is not this AI video. The last thing I'll leave you with is a subreddit that I follow. I'm not a fan of the name, but it does give me like good ideas for changing my desktop theme and making it look awesome. So again, not fan of the name, but Unix porn is really cool to find awesome ideas on different things that you can use with your do with your desktop. And I really hope that this video has inspired you to make your desktop look awesome, because if it looks awesome, you're going to be in that Linux desktop and using it all the time, which will make you better with using Linux if that's something that you're trying to learn. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next one. Kia ora.